Welcome to the first edition of the Upper 90 Soccer Podcast. So I'm joined here today with Edgar, Alfred, Uriel, and myself, Angel. All of us professional soccer analysts, just like you are at home. And today we'll start off by talking about the top five leagues in the world. So basically, the top five leagues that most people agree on that are the highest level of professional soccer are the EPO from England, La Liga from Spain, Serie A from Italy, Ligue 1 from France, and Bundesliga from Germany. But out of these five leagues, the one league that I feel kind of lags behind is Ligue 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could agree that maybe the Portuguese league might be a little better and more competitive all around. Usually the only two teams that compete for Ligue 1 trophy are Monaco, which has fallen in recent years, and PSG, which has been ruling for a long time.
Yes, and I mean, when the Champions League comes around, the only team that really does anything for the Ligue 1 is PSG, and they don't even get that far. I mean, the past, two Champions Leagues they lost in the round of 16?
Three, I think.
The last three times?
Yeah, the last three.
I mean, that's kind of embarrassing.
3 or 4. They haven't been able to make it past that.
And other than that, I can't think of any other French team that can represent the league.
Monaco made it even further than them.
Oh yeah, that was when
Against Man City when they made it to the semifinals.
was
when
that?
Mbappe was like
Yeah, that was
really
when
prime. Well, not prime, but when he was coming up. And they knocked out, I think, Juventus. Yeah, Juventus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they knocked out Juventus and they lost, I think. I forgot to who they lost against.
They made it to semifinals though, yeah.
Yeah, they did make it to semifinals.
But I mean, if
I mean, they had a terrible season though.
who did
Monaco.
that season?
No, this season today.
Yeah, this season.
This year, that season was terrible.
I mean, they still like have their super
Titi and
superstars.
Henry the first.
Thierry Henry, yeah.
First half, he did terrible.
He almost got them descended, so they had to fire him.
How long was he in charge for?
He was there for
A
like
couple of months.
3-4 months, maybe.
So going back to the top five leagues, which league do y'all think is the best one? All the top five we just mentioned.
I think it's the Premier League.
Premier? I don't know.
The Premier League.
I don't think so.
I'll say the Premier League too.
bro.
I think the BBVA.
Do you
Maybe
mean La
the
Liga?
best teams, but
Well, I
The
mean,
Liga
with
BBVA.
Real Madrid and Barca.
I mean, how
Or
would we
Santander,
measure?
nah.
How would we measure the top five leagues? Because if we're going off of like European competitions, which are the Europa and the Champions League, this year for sure the EPO had to be above all of them because you had two English finals in the Europa League and in the UEFA Champions League. But I mean, if you go back, it's mostly been Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Spanish teams dominating the Champions League.
The last one I won was Chelsea 2012.
Yeah, that was a long gap. 2019
A long
to
gap.
It's like 7 years ago.
2012.
Well, last year Liverpool did make it to the final.
Oh yeah.
I feel like BPL is more of a physical and more faster league
A lot more physical.
than La Liga, since
But it's more competitive too.
It is, since La Liga is way slower. You can tell if it's watching the game.
It is.
Yeah, I feel like that's why Premier League, they don't have like that much players that come from like Argentinian league or something like that, or the Mexican league. Only like teams or the Santander has those types of players like Diego Reyes and
That
well,
man is
they have they also have Araujo and other players like Lainez. They give chances, and because it's more, I feel like it's plays much more like the other leagues, like Argentinian league and the Liga MX.
What I feel is that the Spanish league they take more chances because I was looking at this page where it was talking about the most expensive transfers from each year, and like most of them were from a Spanish team buying a player from the Premier League. I think in that list they had Kovacic when Real Madrid bought him from Inter. They had Luka Modric. They had Gareth Bale. They had who's another one? They had Luis Suarez when he went to Barcelona from Liverpool. So it's like the Spanish league takes a lot more risks in buying more expensive players, which I think allows them to do better in European competitions.
Just because they do have stacked teams.
They do. I mean, if you look at
A
the
bunch of players from the Premier League.
I feel like if they think they did good in the Premier League, they think they're for sure gonna do good in La Liga.
They would.
Since it's a more competitive league.
The top 6 of the Premier League are a lot better than the top 6 of
La Liga from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
But
This season you had a Getafe up there.
But going back to what Angel
that
said
is
about
true.
the trophies, I mean, it's kind of true too.
It's because Barca and Real dominated. Real Madrid won it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, they did. I mean, but those are what, 2 teams, and then maybe you throw in Atletico, which I still think is one of the from this decade. I think Atletico Madrid are top 5 teams in the world. This decade.
Well,
This
yeah,
decade.
but that's
Yeah.
only because Barcelona and Real Madrid have been doing everything, and I mean,
What do you mean?
there is no other teams other than Real Madrid and Barcelona, pretty much.
Atletico Madrid,
I mean, Atletico Madrid
Does it-
gets in there just because it's easy.
Sevilla, Valencia.
There's not many teams
I
that have
mean-
done great in the last decade. Manchester United did good for what, the first 3 or 2 years, and then they fell completely apart, and not even
apart way back in the day.
not even classifying for the
Man U fell
Champions
apart
League
with David
is embarrassing.
Moyes.
I don't know. I think English football is like, it's kind of hard to compare it to the Spanish league because, okay, so in England, you have what, 6 or 8 teams always. So you have the top, what, 6, right?
The top, top
It's
4.
top-
Top 4.
Not top 4, but then, like, you have
Because everybody fights for top 4.
top 4, yes, but then there's 6 teams that are world class. They
Yeah,
use
6
6 teams in the English Premier League. And then if you go down, you see teams like Wolves, you see teams like West Ham. Who's another team that's always Leicester City? I mean, recently
Everton.
Yeah, Everton, yeah.
Everton. Those are the what, Europa League teams?
Yeah,
I'll probably consider still.
Yeah,
like,
Arsenal.
big
I mean,
teams.
Arsenal. Yeah, that's true.
Arsenal,
Arsenal.
Yeah,
And
Arsenal
United.
is. Man United too.
Yeah,
So
kind of feel like
Europa League team now.
mid teams.
And then you see them go up against teams from Spanish league, like what, Sevilla, Valencia. I mean, Betis lost against Rennes.
No, Betis not in the Champions League.
They're not even Europa League this season, I think.
Yeah.
They were last season though.
Yeah, they lost to Rennes, a French team, which, I mean, we all know France is kind of like, I think they're kind of like the fake 5th. You know how in Mexico we have 4 big teams? I think the French league is like that fake big league that people still consider it to be top 5 league, but I don't think it.
Because of the players they got.
Yeah, if anything, I mean, recently,
Money.
I think they have acquired big names to try to make the league bigger.
they're definitely good at exporting players, which I think counts towards
Yeah, they do.
making a good.
Yeah, I guess.
But then, if we go back to Porto,
I mean, Portugal does have a lot of
Portugal,
players.
they also export a lot of
Yeah.
players.
Probably even more.
I probably have like four teams that export a lot of players.
Who?
Top 4.
Who?
Benfica,
Benfica,
Porto,
Sporting,
Sporting.
and what's the other team?
They just have the
There's
Porto,
another team
Benfica.
Porto, Benfica,
I think that's it. Just those.
Sporting and Lisboa.
Yeah, there's probably just 3 teams.
There's one more.
Yeah, there is one more that's. I don't think so. I mean, well, going back to it, what do you think makes a league top? Like, is it European competitions? Is it how many players they
it's a mix of all
export?
things. I think it's a mix of competition in their own league, and it's a mix of competition in the European stage, because I mean the French league has poor competition in the European stage, and I mean they haven't had that much competition in their own league either, and I think that's why they're not really considered a great league or a top 5 league. They shouldn't be considered, at least.
I mean, if you're talking about
I
competition,
mean, nah, because Spain has the same thing.
yeah, Spain is those three teams:
Just two
Atletico.
teams. Well, yeah, this season
But then
was
it's
terrible.
it's like Barcelona and Real Madrid and
Those-
Atletico have a lot of
Nah,
competition together.
compare the competition in the BPL with everybody else.
Well, yeah, that's I think that's what
Man
makes
City
it.
literally won the league by 1 point. Well, 1 point, right?
Yeah, I think
1
it
point.
was one or two. It was
Well,
marginal.
1 point, and you had Barcelona winning the league by what, 15?
Yeah, but I mean, Real Madrid did
Probably
have
even more than PSG
its
won the
worst
league by.
season. I mean, I'm still surprised that PSG doesn't win it every.
I
Well,
feel like
every
it
single time.
also like matters the players you bring.
What do you mean?
If they start bringing more like what do you call it, national like, players from all over the world,
International?
international, I guess, yeah. Well, they'll get more views from like, more people around the world.
Spain probably does that more.
Yeah, they do.
Because if you compare the views, the Serie A gets compared to
I'd say that's definitely behind both of them.
Well, I mean, Serie A
Yeah.
is also one of
I
those.
think Bundesliga is probably even ahead of Serie A.
For what?
for views.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because I think the Serie A is
Probably
I mean, it
Serie A
is
has
boring.
more views.
Serie A is boring.
because of the defensive style, but
Yeah. But if you saw the transfer they did last season with Juventus getting Cristiano Ronaldo,
They did get Ronnie.
I'm
But-
pretty sure it increased the views by a lot.
And they got the league, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
have
did.
been snatching a couple of big players.
they also got Rabiot from.
And
PSG.
what did the Germany
Yeah.
league get?
I mean, the German
They
league.
got-
I feel like out of all the leagues, the German league is one of the most. They're one of the most leagues that are considered. How do I say it? They're focused more on like developing German players.
They do.
Because
have a lot.
I don't
they
really
have
hear
a whole lot.
about German teams buying like players that aren't
From the
German,
outside
yeah.
country, yeah.
like if you look at that the Bayern team, it's basically the German national
German squad.
yeah, the German squad with like
Yeah, they do
some
have a
extra
bunch.
players,
Yeah.
which I think helps them helps their national team, but I think it's also what holds their league back from growing. Because if you look at like Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, they're the two biggest teams in the league, and they basically make up what 85-90% of the German squad, and they're the only two teams that compete in the Champions League and do well, and not even Bayern Munich in the last 2-3
They've
Champions
been doing
Leagues?
terrible.
Yeah, they've been doing pretty bad.
and Dortmund.
They got goleados by 3.
Dortmund, I mean, that one year that you had Borussia and Bayern Munich going up ahead in the Champions League, in the
Oh,
Champions
like
League
10
final.
years ago.
I mean, I think that's when the German league was at its peak, and I think it's been declining ever since, to be honest.
Yeah,
That ever
Or even
since,
Pep couldn't do nothing with them.
yeah, ever
Pep
since,
couldn't do anything.
ever since Klopp was at his peak with
Nah, but they're like
Borussia
the
Dortmund,
English
then-
teams too, though, because what other type of English players you see outside of England?
Yeah, there's not much. There's a few.
There's like 2.
There's
three.
maybe not even 3 or 4
Well, now
in
Trippier
the
left.
in
He's
the
like
Oh
one of
yeah,
the
total.
true. I was surprised when Atletico
Yeah, that
signed
was a
him.
surprising signing.
But I mean, I think the English players don't leave because they don't have to leave. Because I mean, if most people agree that the English Premier League is the best league in the world, why would they want to leave?
But top teams don't have much English players.
Yeah,
Chelsea has what, 2?
even
The
in the
starting
past.
lineup, maybe just 1.
Yeah, even in the
Man
past,
City
there
doesn't have
haven't
much.
been many.
Well, Man City probably has more.
But going back to the Germany league, if you ever think about the Bundesliga, what team do you just think about?
Bayern Munich.
That's
Bayern.
it, right? That's all you think
Yeah.
Well,
about.
Bayern and Dortmund.
Bayern and
Yeah,
Dortmund.
Bayern.
But Dortmund is just like,
I mean,
But yeah, other than Bayern and Dortmund, yeah.
Dortmund gets sucked up by Bayern like every season.
But if
So-
you
No, they got a
go,
good squad this
Nah,
season.
they have been.
They
Well,
did
last
beat
one
them.
they did compete pretty hard. They
They
were.
did beat them
they
2-0.
were-
They choked last
Yeah,
season.
well, they be choking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
they
ahead
choked,
two
but they
seasons
were
ago.
competing.
I
though.
saw that game.
They
They choked.
competed.
They were like
choked.
what?
They
Choke
competed
like
pretty
3,
hard, and I mean this
They were
season
up by
they,
like
they
9
got.
points ahead of Bayern, and they still lost the league.
They're like Liverpool.
And you can tell this season though they've been reinforcing and they really want to compete. This
Nah, they
time.
got some okay players, but they could be really good.
Yeah, like Brandt, he has a lot of potential.
Honestly,
pretty
The
young.
Scholes guy too. From Germany.
So,
Shows was
Scholes. He had a good World Cup. Well, not a good World Cup. He did good for Germany.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Bayern Munich to me seems like it's a dying team. Most of their players are retiring,
Really, they're old, dude.
and I mean, I don't see them with any motivation
Yeah.
to do anything.
They do have old players.
They do. I mean, how old is Lewandowski?
Lewandowski.
He's
is
like 31, 32.
He's 31. I
31.
mean, I saw some pictures of him, and he looks ripped, but I don't know how much longer he can keep it up.
I mean, as of right now, they signed Lucas Hernandez and
Oh yeah, they did.
what's the other dude's name?
The guy that used to play for Atletico?
Yeah, they signed Lucas.
Yeah, that's the dude. No, but the other dude from Germany.
I get him
from France.
confused. Lucas Hernandez, that
Oh, Pavard.
Pavard, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Those are some pretty good.
And who else did they signed another? He wasn't that big though.
who wasn't?
Some guy they signed. But Theo Hernandez is pretty good. No, it's not Theo.
I mean,
right?
they have.
That was his brother.
I mean, they still got
Yeah, I
some
get
good
them
young
confused.
players so far. Like for right now.
Who? Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
Neuer's also
Bro.
getting old.
Neuer's
too.
old already.
They should have a
Yeah.
good backup goalie too.
He's already pretty old.
I mean, they did get rid of what's his face, Ribery and Robin.
Yep. I think Ruiz still doesn't even have a team.
I think he's retiring.
You think so?
No, I don't think so.
He said he was gonna retire.
He didn't want to come and play with MLS.
And Robin, I don't know about Robin.
I think he did. I think he went to. No, I'm not even sure.
I'm surprised they didn't come over here though.
To the MLS?
Yeah.
Well, the MLS is a whole other topic. They're struggling.
Australia. Well, moving on to Serie A, what do you guys think that brought AC Milan and Inter Milan down?
Oof.
I don't know.
I have no clue.
Those teams are kind of like. But I feel like that's where Bayern Munich is headed. To like AC Milan territory.
That's where Man U's at right
Oh,
now.
I feel yeah, that's what Man U stands right now.
Dude, Man U and Arsenal are.
You know, Arsenal's always been but Man U's always been a big team.
Man U's always been huge.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all still good though. And they just bought that defender for what, 80 million?
87.
I think that was a waste, but I mean, you could have bought many different players with that, but
Koulibaly.
you could have bought
they should've just
Koulibaly
bought
with that.
Koulibaly with that.
Koulibaly's already a world class player, and
He's way
I think he
better.
can definitely fix.
I
the
think
defense
Maguire's
that's
good.
going
I think
on.
Maguire is good.
Nah, I think they just bought
The
him 'cause he was-
defense. The
He's
defense.
I mean, he's really good. I saw him in the World
Yeah,
Cup.
the World Cup
He's a
pretty good.
beast.
But he's not better than
Yeah,
Koulibaly.
but
But
and then I mean, you need a player that's really gonna fix it.
And he's
that's
not worth
already-
80 million.
I mean, with these prices, I don't think he's worth 80 million. But I don't think they go to find another player.
Koulibaly would have been cheaper than that, and I don't think
I
he
think he
would
would
have.
have been
Koulibaly was
cheaper.
100.
It's because they know it's Manchester United, and they
So
know
they're trying to
Manchester
sell you.
United.
Well,
But
I
also
think he
300.
just went for that much because he was English, really. I mean,
I mean, it's
yeah,
easy-
pretty much it
and-
is too. 'Cause
And because they know it's like Manchester United has money.
yeah.
Gotta squeeze as much out of it as possible.
They should have bought Manotas, bro.
Oh,
who's that guy?
And he went somewhere. He went to Napoli, no?
Oh, Manotas,
Yeah.
the top dude that will.
Manotas
From Roma, yeah, he went to
Yeah.
Napoli.
Manolas.
Manolas, yeah, there we go.
Manotas.
Manotas.
I was thinking the East
Talking about
Dynamo
the wrong
striker.
dude.
Manolas, yeah, Costas Manolas.
Yeah, they could have bought him too. But
So do y'all agree that the Italy league has the top defenders in the world?
They have what?
Nah.
Top
Top
defenders in the
defenders.
world?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I think
Well, it's
I mean, but
considered
I think
a
they don't
defender
go like-
league.
it's because
yeah, but
you have Italy who's like going back to it. Juventus, they dominate that league
By a lot.
by a lot, and I mean their
Oh.
transfers this season is only looks like they're gonna keep dominating.
yeah, they got the league, who's one of the most
They got,
promising defenders right now.
What did they sign? Ramsey?
Yeah,
They
just
signed
yeah,
Ramsey,
that's right.
Rabiot. Yeah, they got a good deal.
Ramsey and
Yeah, they did get a lot of players.
So
So
it's
would you-
crazy how
to
many free
reinforce them.
transfers they get.
It's because they're
They
smart.
get a lot, dude.
They're careful with the way they spend or don't spend.
Imagine
They
a
just
game.
splash on
But then you
Ronaldo.
look at who's the competition of Juventus,
Napoli.
Napoli,
Roma.
and
Roma.
Roma, and I mean, who are they being reinforced with? It's only Juventus is being reinforced right now. I mean, that's just gonna get them even more above on their competition, and I think they're just trying to get that European.
Do you think that's hurting the league?
I
That
think.
Juventus is the one
I
dominating.
mean, yeah. I think that brings down their viewers because you have no competition. You have no like.
But
you have
forget about
urgency
the
of watching
viewers.
that.
It's like if you look at the league as a whole, like what makes a league a top league? You got the infrastructure. You got how much money like the teams are worth. That's two things, and then I guess
players.
the players goes
Yeah,
into how
too.
much like the teams are valued at.
Mm.
Because if you look at like the La Liga, what in that one list for the top 10 most valuable franchises, both Real Madrid and Barcelona were in the top 10. And then Manchester United I think was the only Premier League team in that same list.
No, they have more.
No, not in that list. It was the Cowboys.
Are you talking about
top
all
yeah,
sports?
yeah,
Sports.
like all sports.
It's
it was
Man
like-
U. Man U's in the.
Man, I think Man U was the only Premier League
Man
team.
is one of the top ones though.
Yeah, they are.
It's Man U against Real Madrid too, yeah, and Barca against too.
Yeah, so it's like you got the squad value, you have I guess the
Stadium.
quality of play that goes into the squad value, like the stadiums. Then you have, I guess how they do like in international competitions. And it's like, I think the best league is La Liga. I don't think
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think
No,
it's.
it's
I
just
think it
Premier League.
is.
like the Premier League is more competitive,
Yeah.
It's because I think those are two different things. Like,
but it goes back to like, would you rather have three teams that are?
Because even the Premier League is more structured than the Liga teams.
What do you mean?
Like look at the mid-tier teams of Premier League.
That
Compare
would
them to La Liga's teams.
be like
Yeah,
what,
maybe.
Wolves?
The bottom teams as well.
Maybe.
The bottom teams of La Liga are garbage.
No,
Heck yeah.
no. I feel like the bottom league of the Premier League are way worse.
They
I mean,
are,
if you
but
look
La
at
Liga's
teams
teams
that
are
have
garbage
descended
too.
in the recent years, I mean, how
I
many
mean-
have even made it back up? Like Sunderland, they were playing they were still playing in the top.
And I mean,
even
yeah,
though they descended straight to third division after that. I mean,
and then
they
you
just
have
went
you have the
downhill.
bottom teams from La Liga beating Real Madrid this season.
well,
No.
the season was Real
This
Madrid
season-
probably one of the worst.
It's not the
Atlas
first
could have
time.
beat Real Madrid.
It's not the first time I see it.
Yes,
The lower teams beating Real Madrid.
Yeah, and
in
then
the
it's
Atletico.
not-
Nah,
even
yes.
when
But
Real
that happens in
Madrid.
the Premier League too.
Nah, not
At the
as
most they get a
much.
tie.
Not
At the
as
most they
much,
get a
yeah.
tie.
I've never seen a Cardiff or a like Brinton beat like a Man City or Liverpool. If you think about it, Liverpool.
It's
I
like
mean,
rare.
Man City and Liverpool. The only ones that can beat them are the top like 8 or 7 teams because there's not much there. And the bottom league of that is very low. And then you look at the low of the Liga Santander, and I mean, even when Real Madrid was in their prime and Barcelona was doing pretty good, those teams in the bottom league of the Santander would still beat the Real Madrid and Barcelona that were pretty good in
Nah,
like
they wouldn't beat
2015. Yes, they
No,
would.
they wouldn't.
There would be.
You're
I
confusing them
remember-
with the mid-tier teams.
I mean,
I remember Leganes and
Mid-tier best.
Alaves.
Those
and
are
all
mid-tier
those.
teams.
Leganes is not a mere team.
They are.
Leganes is
Leganes
way-
is fighting-
That's
They're
like,
not bottom table.
Bro.
that's like the low. That's
They're
like
like
Leganes
top five
15 or
teams.
14, 13.
Yeah,
I'm
Leganes.
talking about the last three, the ones that relegate. The
Like
ones that
who?
get relegated.
Like who?
I don't know who got relegated this season.
Rayo Vallecano?
I think they
Rayo Vallecano,
They beat Real Madrid.
Girona, and
Yeah, Rayo Vallecano.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Real Madrid was garbage though.
But it's still.
This season's like that. That happened the same with Man U.
And I mean, if
The relegation teams of the BPL beat Man U for sure.
if we go back to everybody beat Man U. If we go back to like the European competitions, aside from this year, the Premier League teams didn't even make it to the semifinals.
Yeah.
That is true. That is what
And
they
if-
lack.
Like, is it because they're too focused on the league, or do they just not want to win the Champions League?
I don't know what it is.
I think we're being sold a picture of the Premier League being the most dominant league, but I think it's the Spanish league.
No, I think that the Spanish league is the most dominant. But I think I would still rank the Premier League the number one.
Maybe they do make more money than
They would make way more money.
way more money because it's like the only league that people recognize worldwide.
Yeah, they poop on the Ligas.
Especially now that Ronaldo left and Neymar left.
Yeah, that was a heavy hitter for the
La
Liga
Liga.
Santander. I think Ronaldo leaving, I mean, he pretty much brings in at least a good chunk of La Liga Santander's viewers, and
It takes
More
away
people
like the
interested in it.
excitement because I mean it used to be when the Clásicos came around, nobody
Ronaldo
it was
yeah,
yeah,
Ronaldo versus
it wasn't
Messi
Real
was the
Madrid
one
versus
that-
Barcelona. It was Ronaldo versus Messi. It was like
And everybody wanted to see what they did.
Even with the new signings they had this season, I don't think it would be the same.
Yeah, you see
Nah, it's
the
gonna be
flops
better,
of
though, 'cause-
I don't think it's
No,
ever
I
gonna
don't
be.
think-
finally has somebody at least.
It's always the same thing though. It's like
I'm still not convinced with Real Madrid signings. I want to see Paul Pogba.
I don't think he'll fit in the squad, dude.
He fit in perfectly.
He will not fit in the squad.
Yes, he
Nah,
would
he's
in.
not coming.
He's not coming though. He's not.
It won't wait too much for him.
Him or Mbappe.
What do
Mbappe
you
next
what do you
year.
think of the crazy prices the clubs are paying for these players?
This is like
Maguire?
intense. I mean, Maguire for that much, you could have bought a prime Gareth
Would
Bale.
would you guys take
or-
That's how
Maguire?
much he costs.
Would you guys take
Yeah, that's fine.
take? How old is Maguire?
Damn.
He's old, no?
No, he's like 24, I think.
No, he's not that young. He can't be that young.
So would you guys take Maguire or the league?
The league.
The
league
league,
is
any
much
day,
more-
dude.
10 times over.
10 times over?
Yeah, that's how much
Yes.
he was cheaper than that, wasn't
The league, I think
The
they
league was
paid-
like
yeah,
75,
he? He was cheaper than him.
And you're getting much.
But he don't want to go to Man U.
So would you take the league
Fine.
or De Jong?
I
The
think.
league, dude.
I think it
For
depends
what
on the
you
team.
talking about though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
if-
what-
because
if-
Man
if-
United, I would have definitely taken
The league.
the league because I mean they need
A center back?
they need to completely
So that's just
change their defense. I mean they
They need to
did
change
good
everything.
with
Nah, but
Mbappa,
somebody like
but-
Barca, what do you think Barca needed more?
Oof, Barca needs center backs as well.
Nah.
Barca needs defense. And
I mean, Piquet's getting old, but I think Lenglet's pretty good.
I mean, Henry
Mm.
Maguire is 26
And if
years
you
old.
can get him to,
He's 26.
26.
26.
he's not that old.
And
I
the
mean, he's
league
a
is-
center back.
The league is 20 years old.
He's a
20.
center back. He has like 10 years in him.
Nah, he
Nah,
has
Yeah, he
dude.
does. He
But
does.
in the
Like
top
good 4 or
league-
5 years.
Nah, he has a good.
in a
Nah.
top 5 team.
How old
they
is
don't- he
Ronaldo?
No,
doesn't
not
have
10
that.
years. He has a good 4 or 5.
Bro, how old is
He has
Ramos?
till 32
Ramos
or
is
33.
like-
33. And I
But
think I
Ramos
still
is
think
plays in Real Madrid. I mean,
I
he
still-
plays in-
Nah, but Ramos squeezes it. He's squeezing it.
I just still think he's top defense.
He's in his decline for sure.
I mean, yeah, but the man's 32.
Hey, how much did they pay for the league?
70 something. With it.
Imagine paying that price. He's barely gonna turn 20 in what? In a week.
Mm-hmm. He's 6 years younger.
Then
Yeah,
Frankie the
that's-
Young is 22 years old, dude.
He's older than him.
22.
Dang.
Imagine how much they pay for a 22-year-old player.
I think they paid him less than that. They paid like what, 40, 50?
For the young?
Yeah.
No,
Dude,
they paid more.
80.
They paid 80 for the
Yeah.
young.
They paid more than they did for the light.
Wow.
What about Van Dijk? Dude? I think he's been worth it so far.
He was what, 70
Yeah, I mean,
as well?
even if one Champions League is enough, I think, to make him worth it. I mean, if he got him one Champions League, then I think that's definitely.
But Liverpool
Pretty
wants
good.
the league. They want the league. I think if you ask Liverpool fans, would you rather have the league or the Champions League? I think
Yeah, I think it's just
Because
embarrassing
they haven't won the league.
that
in
you
so
haven't.
long.
I don't see how you haven't won the English Premier League yet. Like
It was so close.
ever since it's been
And this
created.
season,
Like,
what they lost about what, a
1991?
point?
1 point.
1 point, yeah.
it's crazy.
And they had a what, 6, 7 point lead?
Well, that's the competition we were just talking about.
What?
How they just lost the league literally a point.
Yeah, but I mean,
And they were like really
I mean,
high
that
up
happens in
there.
La Liga too, though.
yeah, that I don't know.
When
it's-
Real Madrid won the league. they
Yeah,
won by
Real
1
Madrid
point.
beat Barcelona, and Barcelona was super close. I remember that game.
That was what, like 2 different games? No, I mean, like
No.
6 points difference?
No.
I don't know. I'll just rather watch a BPL game than a La Liga game.
It's because they got more. The
Dude,
teams
La
are.
Liga games, if it's not Real Madrid or Barca,
Yeah, it's really boring.
So boring,
It's dead,
dude.
bro.
It's because the the
It's like
EP,
watching Pumas on Sunday. It's just
Puma,
like-
dude.
the EPL markets itself really well.
They do, but it's just better. I don't know what it's about. It's just better.
But then again, you watch like a, I don't know, like a very
It's because
two
you
trash teams in the BPL, and it's like
would
Yeah,
you
it could be
It's
pretty
way
boring.
better though than watching.
They're
the
more
I don't think
exciting.
so. I don't-
I
It's
mean,
more
I would
physical.
not
Have you
watch,
ever seen the?
It's a lot more physical.
I would not watch a like bottom tier type of game where like three less teams fight or play against each other.
I'll
That's
watch
just
it.
boring.
I mean, isn't the Premier League one of the lowest scoring leagues?
I don't know about that.
I don't think
I
it is.
honestly don't know.
Oh yeah, and then the other thing about watching like a Barcelona or Real Madrid game is that you know they're gonna like have a party on the other team. They be winning like crazy sometimes. They be winning 5-6-0. You almost never be seeing that in the Premier League. Like, and with Barcelona or Real Madrid, I mean you can get that maybe once a month.
I mean,
or
if
twice
I
a
want that,
month.
I'll just go watch freaking PSG play.
I mean then PSG be getting wrecked on by Lille 5-0 too. So.
Exactly. They lose and they win by a lot.
I still think the French league shouldn't be considered top.
So what would you say? The
Yeah,
Liga Nos?
the
The who?
Portuguese
Liga
league is
Nos?
the next one.
I mean, I don't know. I really like the Eredivisie.
Nah, they're nowhere near.
No, I don't think.
I
they're-
really like that
Oh,
league.
They're
though.
not. They're not as. I'll probably say they're better than the Leonos.
Eredivisie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the
they export
last
a lot
time-
of players too.
Nah.
When's the last?
They don't export as much as the Liga Nos, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, you
nowhere
see a
near as
big
much.
names though.
This.
I mean,
also-
they have their peaks because this season was definitely a peak for.
This season's their only peak.
I mean,
In the last.
Yeah,
10
you
years,
see.
this
So
has
does
been
that
their
make
only peak.
does that make the Eredivisie a good league just because they made it high into the?
they made it high
Into
into
European
Champions League.
competition?
I mean, it's because it's with every league you got.
I think it's mostly. I would say it's mostly the players that make it a good league. Because I mean, if you look at the Eredivisie or whatever, it's like they don't got many players. They got Ajax has a handful of
You
players.
don't have any
and-
players.
Then you have PSV.
Yeah, they have.
PSV has nobody. But Chuky's the best player.
Well,
they have.
this.
I mean,
last
De
season,
Jong got
they-
bought by Sevilla as their star
But that
striker.
boy is
They
like
have
30
Bande.
something.
No,
years
he's
old.
not.
Wait, dude.
He's not 30 yet.
How old is he?
I think he's like 20. He's near
No.
30. He's like 27, I
Yeah,
think.
he's the oldest
Who?
looking man I've seen.
De Jong. I thought he was really old
He
too,
looks
but
like Diego Costa.
he's
Where's he
not.
going?
And I think he's gonna do well
Nah, he's really
in the
slow.
Spanish league. Yeah, but he's
Well,
like
he
he's
does
a
for the
killer.
league, 'cause the
He's a
league is
killer,
slow.
dude. I watched the PSV games. He's a killer because
But
he's.
he's not better than Chuky.
I mean, no. No. 'Cause
Oh, it's
Chuky's-
different
Or
positions,
even a
bro.
name as Chuky.
No, Chuky's. I think Chuky's on another
Because
level.
who's the face of the Eredivisie?
No, I don't think
Yes,
they have one.
I mean, they got Ajax.
Who would
But
the
who's the
players.
face? Like
Who's
the
the player?
player?
Yeah, you see, they don't have one. That's the thing. I think that every other league pretty
All right,
much.
name me the player from each league that you think is the face.
I
The
think
face of the Premier League?
Santander is.
No, from each league. Top
Santander,
five.
the Liga
That's why the face of the
Santander.
Premier League?
Pogba.
No.
The face of the Premier League is
No, it's
Pogba.
not.
Nah.
No, it's
Yes.
not. No, not
Who
even
else? Who
close.
else? Who?
You don't see
Who
any
other
player
players?
being
I mean,
marketed.
it-
I would
He-
say maybe.
Pogba? Who else?
You don't see. I mean, you got Sterling, Rashford. You don't see any player being as.
Yeah, I would say it was Hazard, but now I would say it's
Nah, not
It
even
was
Hazard, because
yeah, it
Hazard.
No, I would say it's Hazard.
It was Hazard.
Hazard was not the face
Hazard
of.
before Pogba.
Yeah, it was Hazard.
If you ask people, I mean, especially because Hazard played for Chelsea and Pogba played for Manchester United.
Manchester
A way
United
big,
sucks
way,
more.
but it's a bigger team.
I mean, at least
It's a bigger
Chelsea
team.
had some type of success this year.
Yeah, Chelsea did something.
If you were to go into random country in the world and you pull up two pictures, one of Pogba and one of Hazard,
Mm,
I bet you most of
No,
them would
no,
recognize.
no.
More
I bet
people,
you
they
way
wouldn't
bigger.
recognize either.
Mo-
no.
I mean,
More people-
Hazard is way bigger than
more
Pogba.
people would recognize Pogba than they would
No, they
recognize
wouldn't.
Hazard.
No,
Yes.
Hazard has been way bigger than in the entire time. He's been
I'm not
in
saying he's
Chelsea.
better quality player,
He's-
but I'm saying that
Nah,
Pogba's.
he's bigger. He was.
Alright, well, La
pretty
Liga,
much.
there's no.
When's the last time you've seen
I don't
that?
see
La
what
Liga's
Pogba has ever been
La
considered.
Liga, there's
Messi.
no other.
Pogba,
player, right?
I mean, Pogba hasn't even been considered in the top three, and at least at some point, Hazard was close.
But see,
to
no,
it.
I'm
He's
not
being
saying
up
that.
in there.
I'm not saying that Hazard is better. That Pogba's better than
I think
Hazard.
the face.
I'm saying
of the
that
league,
the face of
the face of the league, I think, is the best player, the most known, and I
No,
think Hazard
no.
was more known.
the face.
And was better.
No,
than Pogba.
the face of the league is the player that's marketed the best. And Pogba's marketed way better.
No.
When's the last time you seen a commercial with Hazard in it?
A long time.
No, Hazard was marketed a lot.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he
It
was.
was top 3 at least.
No, he
was
wasn't.
marketed a
Nike
lot.
never mentioned. It was always Nike always focuses on Neymar and Ronaldo. Adidas focuses on Messi and Pogba.
Not even.
Not even Messi. He's not even marketed that much.
That's why if Ronaldo would be in the league,
They probably market more Pogba than Messi.
Pogba's.
But Pogba's not the face of the planet.
Yes, he is.
He is now, maybe.
I would say he is now.
Maybe.
Even when Hazard played in
And
Chelsea.
then it's even.
No, I would say Hazard before him.
No. When people think of the Premier League, you think of what?
No, I don't think.
When you
think of-
when
I thought
people
of Hazard and
when people
Chelsea.
look
I don't even think of Man U when I think of the Prem.
really.
When I think of the Premier,
think
I think of
Man
Man
City
City.
or Liverpool.
Immediately Man City.
I
If
mean,
anything,
that's-
I would say De Bruyne is higher than Pogba as a face of
Oh, De Bruyne could be up there
De
too.
Bruyne.
as a face of
Yeah.
the Premier League. I would say I
De
would
Bruyne
rank
could be up
Pogba
there.
not even
De
my
Bruyne
top
spends
four.
his time.
But not
injured.
more than Pogba. Pogba is
Pogba's the
of
face.
league.
Now he is, but I
Even
don't
when
think he
you-
has been for.
It's because you're
Until
getting
now,
confused,
Hazard.
Alfred. You think that I'm talking about which player is better. No, I'm talking
No.
about the face.
I know, and Pogba isn't the face.
He was the face. He
Pogba's
still
not the
is.
face.
He
All
still
right,
is.
let's go. Let's move on to this. So, which player is the face of La Liga?
Messi.
definitely.
No doubt about that. Let's go to the next one.
And
Nobody
then
else.
the
Serie
Italian
A's
league.
Ronaldo.
Serie A.
Italian league,
Ronaldo, yeah.
definitely
League
Ronaldo.
One is
League One is probably
Neymar.
Neymar.
Neymar and Mbappe.
Yeah,
But
I think
Neymar.
definitely more. And then what is the
That's
other
it?
one?
Oh, the
Bundesliga.
Bundesliga.
When I think of the
Lewandowski?
that's a hard one actually.
You just think of Lewandowski.
I would think either
I just think of
Lewandowski
FC
or-
Bayern, dude.
Yeah, because you think of Bundesliga, all you think
Yeah.
of is not even Dortmund. You just think of Bayern.
Lewandowski.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bayern. I think Borussia is definitely gonna do good this
Lewandowski
season.
or what?
I think this season is gonna be the season that Borussia gets to shine and actually does something in the Champions and in the
If they don't choke.
Bundesliga. They're probably gonna take it. I think. I mean, especially with them getting that 2-0 win in the Super Cup against Bayern and on Saturday, I think that's definitely gonna boost them.
I mean, I'm telling you, Bayern Munich's on a steep decline down.
Yeah, I think probably this season is gonna begin.
How didn't they fire their coach?
I don't even know. Who is their
But they
coach?
fired Ancelotti like when he had a better
Kovac?
season than him.
I think they won the old Croatia coach, the one that Mexico beat
Yeah,
in the
Niko
World
Kovac.
Cup.
He's the coach?
He
Yeah,
didn't get fired, but Ancelotti got fired
I mean, it's-
when they had basically the same season.
that's just how it goes. I mean, I'm just waiting for... What's his name? The Manchester United all soldier? Soldier?
I don't
Scholes.
know clue how to say his
Paul
name.
Scholes.
Solskjaer.
Ole.
Ole
Solskjaer.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to get sacked.
He won't.
He has to.
This season he won't.
He
Dude,
has
I
to.
mean, who else could they hire?
I think that was Manchester United's worst mistake.
Who could they hire though?
Well, then again, you look at, Manchester
Mourinho-
United.
they
thought it
should've
was a
kept
good
Mourinho.
choice for the first 2
I would have
months.
kept Mourinho.
They
but
should've
They-
kept
don't want
Mourinho.
him.
They
Nobody
actually
wanted him.
did. Manchester United bought the hype and believed that they actually had a good coach, but then
They should have
They
kept
went in
Mourinho. They
against-
should have. This is what they should have done. They should have kept Mourinho. They should have let Pogba go to Real Madrid. Mourinho would have. I'm pretty sure Mourinho. I'm 100% sure Mourinho could have got them top 4.
I think what's ruined Manchester United is horrible purchases. I mean, they've had some horrible spendings over the last seasons, like terrible, completely. Like Alexis Sanchez. I mean, he's still getting paid a whole lot, and where has
But I
he
mean,
been for the
I think
last
it goes
seasons?
deeper than that because they buy quality players. Alexis Sanchez, when he played with Arsenal, he was not the same one he is right now. They also bought Falcao. They bought
Yeah.
Zlatan.
No, but they got Falcao injured.
They bought
But they didn't even
they
buy
bought
him.
him
He was
for-
just on loan.
they bought Depay.
The Bay también.
Yeah, they've had a lot of, and Di
He
Maria
was
too.
good.
Di
The ball
Maria
was
too.
raw.
They
They
had
had Di
a-
Maria too. They have good.
They've had players that were promising,
official?
but then
That's official.
It's official.
It's official.
what?
Memo Ochoa
They
signed with
photoshopped him on his
Club
body.
America.
Well,
But nah, it was just ever since that boy left, the legend.
Ferguson?
Yeah,
The
Ferguson.
legend of Fergie. Once he left, it was over.
I think and it started as soon as he left because of Moyes. Moyes just brought him down.
But I don't even think it was Moyes' fault. I don't know what it was.
They sold Chicharito too. That was a big mistake.
Nah,
Where's Welbeck
I
now?
don't know about that.
Where's Welbeck now? That's what I'm
they
saying.
kept him though that season after.
Yeah, the season after, but then Moyes didn't even play him in the beginning.
The season after they kept him, and then they just did terrible. And then he chose to keep Danny Welbeck.
Why though?
I don't know. I guess he was doing better than
Because
him.
he's English. But that's
Yeah,
a whole nother podcast.
And because he's English.
Yep. Alright, so I guess we'll be wrapping it up. So
So what will be the order?
for me,
Everybody's order.
alright, so for me it'd be La Liga, EPL, oof. I'm not sure. I guess I'd go with the Bundesliga, Serie A, and Ligue 1. No, okay, I changed it. So it'd be La Liga, then it'd be the EPL, then it'd be the Serie A, then it'd be the Bundesliga, and then it'd be the French league, which I still don't think belongs there. I think it should only be 4 top leagues.
Top 5 sounds better.
Yeah, it does. So what about you?
For me, it would be the Premier League, Liga BBA, Bundesliga, Serie A, and then it would be probably La Liga NOS. I still think it's better than the French league.
For me, I would have to go with La Liga, the EPL, the Bundesliga, and the Serie A, and I would say the Liga NOS.
For me, it would be the EPL, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and then the Liga NOS.
All right, well, I guess that settles it. So I guess you guys could send us feedback or
just comment your thoughts on the podcast we just had.
Yeah.
oh yes,
Let us know if you like it, and
we'll
What
see
can we
you.
improve on?
See you guys next week.